Good morning, folks, again. So we're continuing a little bit more with the bike today, and a couple of things I'm going to work on and finish. One is the tank. I've painted the tank up now and given it a final clear coat. Show you that. And then I've just noticed that I was reading up, and the Monoshock that's on this, the bump stop at the bottom, it all disintegrated. I had no idea what it was. It was like a pink, horrible looking thing. Anyway, that's completely disintegrated, so I'll need to try and see if I can find one of them as a replacement on the internet, or decobble one up from something else. But to get it off is effectively just taking off the Monoshock, which is like two pins that's held in wise, and then taking off the spring and replacing that. So we'll see how hard that's going to be. I'm still waiting on the parts for the clutch, which I'd buggered up. And if you remember, what I'd done with the clutch was I'd broken it off with the stanchions, tried to tighten it back on again. I'd actually put a screwdriver in here and got it off that way, and I thought, hey, I might be lucky, but yeah, no chance. So this goes to like £40 foot, and the primary gear goes to £50 foot when I looked it up. So I have to go and figure out how to get that stuff. Anyway, that's on order. I've got a new one of these coming, which is cool, along with a tool which fits in these slots. The Monoshock bump should actually be in here for the stock, and that's missing. So I have to take the shock off, lower the rear axle on that one. But the tank, as you can see, is turned up pretty good. I was actually more than happy with this. That's turned up pretty good. That little crease in there was there from day one. As I said, I was never trying to get to perfection on this. So this has actually got the 3 primer coats and about 7 colour coats, and then 3 clear coats. The clear coat actually did run, and we're going to work on that today. Just a piece here on the edge, unfortunately, and a little bit on the side here, just there. It also worked on the filler. You can see it here, a couple of places up there and there, so I'll try and get that off. Now this whole tank, I'm not going to actually polish all this up. I don't see the point for a dirt bike. I think with the enamel baked in the oven, I know the clear coat, that's as glossy as enough as I want for a dirt bike tank. And then when the transfers come on, it'll look pretty good. So I'm going to get that off. So looking at the YouTube videos today, the way to get it off, my brother David would know this for sure. He's a model maker, extraordinary model maker. Anyway, basically I just take a brand new razor blade and I drag it down over these to get rid of these high points here. And I keep going like that, and then sand it with 800, and then 1000, and then I'll do 1500 and maybe 2000 just to smooth that off. And I know that's going to roughen this part up, but it has to be another clear coat goes on this anyway, so I'm going to probably just rough it all over. Once I've taken that, smoothed that off, I'm just going to rub it down with probably 8000 to give it a lot of big grip for the final clear coat that's going to go on it. I don't want to rub too much clear coat off, because once it transfers goes on, I'll have one more clear coat to do. So anyway, I'm going to try that and see how far I got on with that today. Okay, well, another day. So I'm still finishing off this painting job for the tank. I'm waiting for the decals to come now, but the tank's still hanging up there drying. But one of the other cosmetic things I did is I bought a seat cover over the internet, and I just actually fixed that on there just now. So this is actually from a guy in Canada. Made this. This is really pretty good. I just cleaned up the underside of the seat here, and put on the new seat. So I have a decent looking new seat. The other thing that arrived was a headlamp from Taiwan. I think I'd got it, but it's just a cheap plasticky thing, and it's supposed to be a halogen bulb, but of course it's not. But anyway, for the time being, I can put this in anyway. But of course, what's happening is that this frame doesn't fit the actual bike anyway. So this one's actually in good nick, so I want to keep this one. So the problem I have is that when I put these in here, it's too low down for the clips to reach up to fit in, because they would normally just press against the glass and then up against the edges here. But I've got a 3D printer, so what I'm going to do is just make a little plastic circular step, and I'll put in 3 of them underneath there, and then I'll just actually place them on there. So I'm just going to go and print them off just now. Well, I'll have to go and design them and then print them off, but I'll measure that and do that. So hello folks. So finally, after a week or so, a couple of weeks, I've got some more parts arriving. So the decals for the tank arrived today. I just put them on. I'll show you the results. And I got the seat upholstered as well. And I'm just waiting for the clutch tool to arrive, so I could put back the clutch because I can't tighten up the bearing, the lock nut on it, and then we should be sweet. But let me flex this around and I'll show you the tank. The tank still has to get a final clear coat, but other than that, I'm pretty happy with a little bit out in one place, but hey, first attempt, super happy. Let me show you what it looks like. First of all though, here's the seat. So I got the seat from a guy in Canada, and not the seat, there's just the cover, and I cleaned up the seat, painted the end brackets on here too, and stitched that in, stapled that in, so give it a nice new seat. While I have the seat, I have put on the Enduro 175 stickers on the outside with the painted blue, and I just finished putting on the decals for the tank, which came up pretty cool looking, huh? And I still have to clear coat the tank. I'm just going to let that. Tomorrow's going to be a nice day. It's going to be warmer. It's a little bit humid today, but the bike actually looking pretty good. So I've just rested the tank on there for show, and I'll put the seat on here. And just a little, it's not fastened down. I've just laid it on there. But that is not too freaking shabby. That is looking good. That is looking really good. Happy with that. There we go. I've just put the seat on a little bit lower. I've not fastened into the things. I had to drill these out and put in helicoils because they were stuck in. I have bolts in there. But that's looking good. Yeah, it makes nice with the tail tidied up there. And I'm really happy with the way those decals came out. So let's hope when I put the clear coat on I don't screw that up. But other than that, that colour's came up pretty good. That there is as close as you'll get probably to a Balboa Blue 79. That's just looking pretty sweet. Well, this is it. The sun's out, it's warmish. In the 60s. And I've got the final clear coat to put on this tank. And I am nervous. After all the effort it's taken to get that tank done. I'm just hoping none of these, there's a lot of these little cotton, well, maybe I should just wait. A lot of these cotton wool things are flying around. Let me think. Well, that's it. I got a couple of little sags, but I put on 2 light coats covering that. That's going to be fine. But that's actually pretty cool. That's my first attempt at a tank. I can see I just like overlapped there a little bit. It was hard to put the Tran decals on because you had to line them up exactly. Just lined them up, a little bit overlapping there, but the rest of the tanks came up pretty cool. You can just see the sag here, just a light sag there, and along with that line for the filler was for the tank. But perfectly honest, that is just, when I'm sitting down looking at the top of that tank and you're riding it, you're not going to be complaining too much. I got the decals lined up nice because that would bug the hell out of me if they weren't lined up. Super! Come on then, come on, clutch boss, get this sucker on the road. Woohoo! Well, welcome back, folks. And it's been a couple of weeks. Excuse me. And I had actually finished, as you've seen in the last episode. I think I had finished the all the tanks, etc. So they all come up really cool looking. Well, one of the things I did notice actually was that while I'm waiting on this stupid clutch boss, I got it from boats.net, which is part of the Partzilla company, now USA. And the clutch boss was supposed to have been available on May 22nd. And they changed the order to be available June 1st. So this is now June 2nd or 3rd. and I phoned them, and they don't have an update for that yet, so I'm a bit hacked off with that. In the interim though, I did remember seeing it in the Monoshock that this bump stop was completely rotted. And I did read about it. I mean, they were telling me that you should really ride it with a bump stop. So I went out to the Yamaha Enduro forums, and sure enough I could get a replacement for it from a Monoshock. One of the guys told me the dimensions of it. So I ordered that. That actually arrives tomorrow or the next day. So I thought I'd just come and take the Monoshock off. It should be pretty easy. And it actually came away reasonably well. So I actually did buy from Harbour Freight. This is great. This little stand here, it was $32. And I've got the bike on it. And there's a technique I saw on the YouTube by a little girl. She's like 5'1", if she was that. And to get this lifted on here, because I think, how do you lift the motorcycle onto the stand? Anyway, the way you do it is basically, you put the stand at this side, you go around the front, you hold on to the front brake, and then basically what you do is you lift the front wheel up, and then you just swing it on, and it went on like no issue. So while that was on, I basically just disconnected the castle nut at the top of the Monoshock, and took off this bolt, and then I hit it, started pushing this out, and it actually came out, I mean, reasonably okay. It was actually turning. I haven't taken it fully out. It sort of seems to stop here, but as you can see, this is actually it's not stuck in there by any means. So I just looped it up. Anyway, what I wanted to show you was this. When I got this bike, I thought it had 40,000 miles on it. When I read it the other day, it's 4,000 miles. So I just took a shock off, and wait to see this, folks. This is a 40-year-old shock. You think this is freaking brand new? Look at this. I don't think the guy who had this really had it off-road. I mean, I've seen shocks for sale on the internet, on eBay, and it's nowhere near this calibre. So this shock inside it is going to be absolutely fantastic. So basically, to get the bump stop off, I have to take off the spring, and basically I just take this off and put this in its lowest position, so the spring's expanded, there'll be no pressure on it, and I just crack this very slightly, I've been told, before I take the cotter pin out, because I'll try and get the cotter pin out as it is, but people have told me it won't work. So basically I just crack that very slightly to a gap to take the pressure off it, and basically I'm pushing this down a little bit more, and then it'll give a gap, and then I can just pull that cotter pin out, unscrew it, boom, and then the bump stop comes and I'm done. So let's do that. Well, that was cool. So basically, to get this cotter pin out, one of the guys suggested you just actually hold this side, so I held that with the mole grips here, and then on this side, just turn it slightly towards you, so it eases the tension off of here, and sure enough, boom, comes straight out. You had to take that screw out. So when I turned this when I took a screw out and turned this anti-clockwise, it was 2 turns until I hit the minimum. So effectively, this is off now, so I can just actually unscrew this, take it off, bump stop arrives, bung it back on. Job done. Okay, so this bump stop is now waiting for the Monoshock is waiting for the bump stop. But while I was here, I thought I would clean the tank up. I did look in here a little bit, timing it. It's not too. It's a big piece of rust along the side here on the side, so I don't know if that'll work in there. I don't think it'll work. No. Yeah, it's hard to see in there, but you can see some rust on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some apple cider in there and leave it, and take that out, and that flash rusts quite quickly. So basically a little bit of 2-stroke gasoline in there, and I'm swishing it all around. You can use WD-40, but if you've got 2-stroke oil, it'll be fine. And I'm going to leave that in for like a day, and see how that turns out. What I've done is I've just actually put on a little pipe and blocked off the output. I'm just going to fill this up with apple cider. So I've just stuck in 5% apple cider right up to the gunnels there. I'm going to leave that in for a few hours. It's slightly dripping there, but I don't think it's going to be dripping out. I've tried to tighten it as much as I can, but it should be fine. Once that comes out, I'm going to rinse it all out with water, some baking soda to neutralise that, and then wash it all out, dry it, and then I put some 2-stroke oil in it to stop it from flash rusting again. Hi folks, yeah, so I know it's been months, well not months, weeks, this 1978 175. So, but anyway, I got the Monoshock off, as you saw, and I've actually got the bump stop put back on, stuck it back in there. That was a simple job. But I'm still waiting on this part for the clutch. And it's actually coming from Yamaha direct to the dealer, seemingly. They said they had them in stock, but it didn't. So while I'm waiting in that, and I'll just show you what I did with that. It was my own fault, actually. There was nothing up with this clutch. I actually broke the stanchion off it here, trying to torque this up. I just put a screwdriver in, and I was a bit stupid there, not in the fingers here, but in there, which is not good. So I do have the actual tool, which I ordered up. It's only 26 bucks, so if I'd ordered that up, it would have been running by now. So there you go. So better invest in the good tools. And when I actually looked at all this, as I mentioned to you, this bike's only got 4,000, just over 4,000 miles, so it's actually looked brand new in here. When I took the pin out, which has never been out in the Monoshock looks brand new. Same with the discs, so it's actually a pretty brand new looking bike. But anyway, I'll stand back and I'll show you with all the paintwork now. I just actually finished it with the tank, so you can actually start to see the bike taking shape, which is really pretty cool. I actually bought one of these stands from Harbour Freight here for the bike. It's only $32, fantastic. And I had no idea how to get the bike on there. I tried with jacks and things. So I looked up YouTube and I saw this little girl, well woman, she's about 5 foot tall. And basically all she did was put the stand at the other side, hold on to the front brake and then lift it up with the front wheel here. So boom, swing it around and stick it on, no problem. So that's on. So now you can actually see it, what it looks like with the seat. So seats actually, I covered that seat with the new stuff it came. That was great for a guy from Canada, that was cheap. Did a tail tidy, I cleaned all that up and repainted that. I mean, as I said, the guards, you can still see the score marks through there, and they're going to chip, without a doubt. You can see red coming through there, but at some point I might just buy the blue ones. I think you can get them. These are banged up underneath. I'm just going to put the black vinyl on to finish that off. But as you can see, the tanks came up freaking superbo. The other thing I actually managed to finish was I finished this. So this was the clutch, the magneto cover I got off the internet, and again I smoothed all that down and repainted that. I managed to get the final lock nut on here. This is just an island lock nut, it's not the Yamaha one. I'm still waiting, that was a pain in the butt. But other than that, the wheels are all adjusted, the tyres up, the tank's hooked in there, so I'm just waiting for that one part to arrive, and when I run parts, I'll put it back in the clutch. The clutch plates are also brand new. When I measured them, they're all to spec, the springs are all to spec. So I've either put a new clutch in there, because they have had this off. I know they've had the clutch cover off, so I think they've put a new clutch cover, a new clutch in there, because there was no ball bearing inside that. For the there's a ball bearing in there now, but there wasn't one, so there's no clutches going. But that is looking sweet, so I'm really happy with that. That adds to my stable of motorcycles. I'll just have a space for one more, folks. So you could maybe, what I was thinking of is I really wanted a BMW RS100 as a kid, and I had a Boxster, I had a BMW R45, had a BMW K1100 LT, had a BMW K1200 RS in Scotland, and I moved here. I bought that K1200 RS 20 years ago. I wouldn't actually mind having a vintage BMW. But there you go, and this is just, Royal Enfield is just magnificent. Okay, that's it until we get this thing. The next video I'm going to show will be this running.